We just got a major Bills update. It seems like everybody is talking about it, and it seems like we are finally going to get some closure on this never-ending saga. So let's talk about it all right here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bills Digest. I'm your host, Anthony Senicar, and it is off-season time, so you know what that means. Tons of trade rumors, tons of draft coverage, and tons of free agency signings. But there's only one issue, you guys. 72% of you guys who are watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. Subscribe, join the army here at Bills Digest, because we want you guys to stay in touch, and we got you guys covered all offseason for all your latest Bills news. So subscribe and stay in touch and stay in form. And like I said, guys, we got a big update on a never-ending saga for the Buffalo Bills. That saga being that of the James Cook contract negotiations. Brandon Beane just spoke to the media at the owners' meetings in Florida, and this is what he had to say about the current situation with James Cook. I don't see us getting something done anytime soon. We're on to the draft. Just because we don't get something done this year doesn't mean we can't get something done before he's a free agent. And that sounds like he is slamming the door shut on a contract negotiation this year. He furthered by saying that he spoke to players that were on the same page and kind of threw some subtle shots at James Cook. I mean, the guy went and re-signed Benford, Khalil Shakir, Greg Rousseau, Terrell Bernard this offseason, re-signed Josh, or negotiated Josh's contract for even more, 6 years. So it seems like it was kind of shade at James Cook. James Cook was the only player out of the bunch who went out and talked about it in the public. I mean, I'm going to give you guys a full timeline here because there is a lot to understand here. It all started after the San Francisco game where his brother Dalvin Cook subtweeted a highlight from the game saying, "Pay the man number 4." We didn't hear about it for a while. Then the Pro Bowl rosters came out, and James Cook was a snub for the Pro Bowl. He said, "It'd be wild. Your best still ain't enough, but hey," talking about being a Pro Bowl snub. His brother subtweeted this by saying, "Just keep doing what you're doing and let the bag in a few weeks speak for itself." So that, to me, sounds like that the Bills were in contract extension talks with James Cook, and it sounds like that the contract was just around the corner. Again, this was conversation mid-season, kind of a little bit of ruckus. Didn't cost too much, but it did start to pop his head out. But this kind of put that to bed by saying, hey, we're going to re-sign James Cook. At one point, it seemed like Dalvin knew that Jimbo was in conversation with the Bills. Well, the season keeps on going. The Bills lose to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship. A few days later, what does James Cook do? Takes a page out of the Stephon Diggs contract negotiation and trade negotiation days and unfollows the Buffalo Bills. And rumors are that he might be holding out, blah, 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 blah. And this is just another layer to the cake. A few weeks later on Instagram Live, James Cook finally puts out a number that he wants. On Instagram Live, pins his own comment that says $15 million a year. Again, that is up there with a top 5 running back contract that was, at that point, was going to reset the running back market as Christian McCaffrey was the only one who was paid over $15 million. Now, looking back at it, Saquon got money and a few other guys are getting paid, but still, $15 million at that time was big money for running back. Now the market is trying to kind of fixing with that Saquon contract extension, but it continues on. He just doubles down on that $50 million a year by quote tweeting a tweet from someone else saying, "If you think James Cook ain't worth 15, you must have dropped your head first through the table. Pay him." And then he quote tweets that with the 100 emoji 4 times. Again, that seems like Jimbo is standing on business saying, "Listen, this is what I'm worth and you guys better pay me." Then a few weeks later, he goes on the Nightcap podcast with Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson and has this to say about the situation and the contract. "I want to go chase the highest of the highest, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to stand on what I stand on, and I don't want to feel like a cancer at all because I don't like all that attention and all that. That's not me. Honestly, I'm just standing on business and what I deserve. That's it, what I deserve." Again, that seems like a guy who understood that being in the limelight, maybe someone had got in his ear saying, listen, these very public contract negotiations are not helping you. And again, it is not a situation where you want to be publicly negotiating and demanding this number because it kind of puts you up against the wall. So he kind of did some damage control on the nightcap saying, listen, I'm a guy who wants to keep to himself, which we've seen for many and many years. And now he's like, hey, maybe I'll shut my mouth and maybe I will get paid. And again, only a few weeks ago, Brandon Beane had this to say about both the Benford and James Cook contracts, saying, we've definitely had dialogue with those guys. That's probably as far as I would take it. And now most of us took that as, hey, I think contracts negotiations are going pretty well. Brandon Beane kept his cards close to the chest. And what comes out yesterday, Christian Benford gets the contract extension. Or not yesterday, a few days ago, Christian Benford gets the contract extension. And on top of that, based off of now what Brandon Beane's most recent comments saying that they've closed the door on that, it seems like Jimbo is not going to get paid, and it seems like him taking the route of getting public negotiation contracts have definitely bit him in the behind. And it seems like the Bills were of the mindset of, listen, let's negotiate, let's extend guys that want to talk about their numbers, and guys who are not going out in public demanding $15 million, or if Benford went out and demanded $23 million, they went and paid the guys who were quiet, got the contract done behind closed doors. And it seems like James Cook now kind of put up his back up against the wall. By demanding that $15 million, he's going to have to play out his contract this season. That is going to be $5 million. He can go and get paid $15 million next year, but there's opportunity that he can get traded during the draft to a different team with, a lot of money, but hey, you're not going to be fighting for Super Bowls when you're getting paid $15 million on the Las Vegas Raiders or the New York Jets or one of these other teams. You're on Buffalo right now. Take your 11 or 12 million bucks and not have these public negotiations. Listen, I still think Jimbo is one of the best running backs in the league, and stats back that up. He had a very, very good year, one of his best years of his young career so far, with 1,000 yards rushing, 16 rushing TDs, 4.9 yards per rush. Played 16 games, and in the NFL, reliability is the best ability. Only missed one game, so again, not a lot of injury concern or injury history. Coming out of Georgia, he was a second-string running back, not a full-time starter, so plenty of tread left on the tires. A great option out of the backfield, improved on his fumbling issues, still has the issue of obviously turning his head too quick on some easy catches and dropping the ball. He probably left 2 or 3 touchdowns on the table during the season just from that, so plenty to improve in his game. But I still think he is not worth that $15 million price tag. Sports Track has him at $10.2 million. I still think he's probably worth a bit more than that. I think you get him at $12 million, and both teams walk away happy. Now James Cook puts his back up against the wall. The Bills can make him play out this season. There's, knock on wood, that he doesn't get hurt, but there's an injury concern because he could get hurt and then you miss out on a big bag. Or you can do what happened to Saquon, play out the season, have a very good season, get franchise tagged, and then you're still stuck here on the franchise tag that is not $15 million. Now, I don't see Brandon Beane franchise tagging James Cook because, again, the running back market is growing, and I still think the franchise tag next year will be 13 or 14 million bucks because I still think other guys are going to be due for contract extensions like B. John Robinson and a few other these younger guys. My apologies there, guys. So I just think that James Cook kind of put himself in this weird spot now where he went public with his negotiations demanding this money. Brandon Beane turned it around, said, okay, you don't want to talk money, I'm going to re-sign everybody else at good numbers. And now James Cook is standing here still on his rookie contract with no contract extension, still wanting $15 million, still going to have to play this season. Listen, and if you want to sit out, fine. You're going to get fined, and you're only on a rookie contract for $5 million. It would be easier if you just took your $12 million or $13 million or whatever the Bills were offering you, try and get closer to that 15, meet somewhere in the middle, like I said, 12.5 or something like that. Get your contract extension, be locked up for 4 or 3 years, have your money. That's still, what, $2 or $3 million? speaking here, but what is $2 or $3 million really going to change? I think you should have took your money, been locked up here long term, be on a contender for the next 5 years, and be fighting for Super Bowls year in and year out. Now you can still, again, contract extension could happen next offseason or come training camp or whatever, but it seems like that door's kind of slammed for this season. So you wait till next season. You can still get your contract extension, but then you run the risk of getting hurt, or if you want, fine, go get traded. The Bills can go get a third-round pick for you, and you go on a team that's not a contender, and you just go get your money and yada, yada, yada. But I think James Cook kind of put himself in a weird spot, and we will see how this saga continues to develop because it was the talk of the offseason so far, and I think it is not fully done, even though Brendan's Beane said what he said. I think after the draft, we're going to see a few more things coming out, and come training camp time, we will see if James Cook reports to training camp. But I want to hear from you guys below because I love to hear from you guys. Let me know below. What do you guys think? Do you guys think James Cook was demanding too much money? Do you guys think that James Cook kind of shot himself in the foot with his contract negotiations as everybody else got a contract extension and now James Cook is hung out here to dry? And do you guys even think it's worth re-signing James Cook, or do you think they should trade him for a draft pick or just let him pay out his contract and go draft someone in a later round, or let Ray Davis become the full-time starter for the Bills? Let me know your thoughts below, guys. As always, guys, subscribe. It is off-season time. We just passed 300 subscribers, so now we're on the road to 400. So subscribe, stay in touch all off-season, and we appreciate every single one of y'all. And as I always say, guys, go Bills.